if the big guns were producing and the power play was producing, maybe you have 1 or 2 more wins at this point, and you are comfortable experimenting with an Emberson in the top 4 for a little bit longer, or in the top 6 for a little bit longer. What do you make of the power play struggles so far? They're not in sync. They're not speaking the same language. Would you be making a change here, or do you think it's patience?
Yeah, that's a weird one, because we haven't really seen this power play struggle for years, really. I mean, it makes sense that the penalty kill hasn't been as good this year as it was last season or into the playoffs, because, you lose Cody Ceci, you lose Vinny Desharnais as well, and those are key players in your penalty kill. But when you look at the power play, it's all the same guys still in the mix, and it just seems like, are they all just snake bit at the exact same time? I'm not sure what change it would take to get this going. Is like a personnel change, put someone different in front of the net. Like Zach Hyman so far this season has looked cold, and there hasn't really been very many times during Zach Hyman's tenure with the Oilers that he's looked cold, but there isn't Evander Kane to slot out there and throw in front of the net right now. I'm not really sure who it's going to be. Like, who's that big body you're going to put out there instead to maybe bury the puck? I think we just got finished having this conversation about not wanting to blend. I think it might just be ideal, or it might just be necessary to give the number one unit that's been good forever, good for years, just give them 10 games to see. And then if it's after 10 games, then I think maybe you got to switch something up.
Yeah, and it's game 7 here tonight. There are only 3 teams in the NHL who have fewer than 2 power play goals at this point. The Oilers have 1, the Ducks have 0, and the Sabres have 0. Philip Gustafson, the Wild goalie, has more power play goals than, or just as many power play goals as the Edmonton Oilers.
Makes you think.
Makes you think.
I think the thing with the power play too, and different stages, but remember back to the Stanley Cup final, they were not very good then either.
Nope.
Draisaitl injured. If you remember, like a lot of those going for one time is just missing them in general. I went back and looked. The last like legit power play game was game 6 against Dallas. I believe they went 2 for 2, and the night before they went 2 for 3. They did have a 2-goal performance in the final against Florida, but that was when McDavid went absolute nuclear to the Perry one. Since then, they've not had more than 1 goal on the power play.
Yeah. I dug up some numbers for a piece that's going up at Oilers Nation at 4:00 this afternoon. And I talked about the block shots. They're not getting pucks through all that much. They've had 20 shot attempts blocked in 28 minutes of power play time this year. If you convert that to a per 60 rate, that's about 42 blocked shots per 60 minutes. Last season, that number was 26. So per 60 minutes of power play, they're having 16 more shots blocked per 60, which is wild. One guy who's obviously a culprit of that, Evan Bouchard, last year, he averaged 12.45 shots on goal per 60 minutes on the power play. That number right now is down to 7.53. His blocked shots per 60, 15 and 11 is the comparison there. So Bouchard's got to do a better job of getting shots through, but I also think that speaks to them not being as dangerous moving the puck. Teams can sit in their box or their diamond, whichever way they're attacking it, and clog up the middle of the ice because the Oilers aren't pulling threats from other areas. They're not finding the seams that you need to find if you want to pull guys out of position. So there's a whole bunch of issues. The one thing I'll say, and I made this point the other day, I don't think Nuge, like Hyman hasn't been good, Bouchard hasn't been good, Draisaitl's tried hero plays. Nuge is just the guy that's easy to pull off because of where he is on the ice. If you switch Nuge for Skinner, does it just rewire everyone's brains a little bit? Does it force McDavid and Draisaitl out of what's comfortable? And that's the same 5-man unit that's been together for years now. Does it pull them out of what's comfortable and just force them to look at things different? Does Skinner handle the puck a little bit differently? Can he find seams? Like, that's kind of my overarching point to end my rant.
I don't know if it would be Skinner. I worry about bringing somebody new in that's like a puck facilitator. And then, like I talked about earlier, it's the chemistry or the familiarity you're lacking. But somebody else in the comment section when I was looking brought up Corey Perry playing in front of the net, which in Zach Hyman's spot might make some sense because, I mean, we haven't really seen it much yet with Corey Perry's time with the Oilers, but we all know from when he was with the Ducks, going in front of the net, creating chaos. And if the Oilers are having a really difficult time getting pucks through, then maybe having him in the slot in the box, just there hacking and slashing, moving the puck towards the net, shoving guys out of the way. Maybe that's the move because, I don't know, they just look like the power play looks slower this year than in previous years. And I wonder if is it just the other teams are seeing the Oilers and they're just giving them their best effort, or is it a whole different strategy that the power play has been the same thing for too long? But I think Corey Perry might actually be the answer here.
He's had a great start. Someone said Jeff Skinner hasn't earned it. I think he's been one of their most consistent forwards this year. Daryl Sutter says teams were eventually going to figure out the power play. It could simply be teams are adjusting better. And I mean, to bring it back to a baseball analogy, how many times do you see a hitter, Davis Schneider, come up for 10 days? They are dominating. And then teams get tape on them and go, can't hit the fastball. And then it's the hitter's turn to adjust. And it's a longer time frame than that right now, obviously. But maybe teams just have so much tape on the Oilers that it's like, here's how you attack them. Don't chase, sit back. They'll try to make hero plays and try pick them off. And
I mean, it's been 3 years of the same unit, right?
Dominance.
Eventually, like it was going to slow down. Again, I'm not really too worried about it. I mean, it's not good by any means, but I do think it'll come around. You can't keep those guys off the score sheet for that long.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.